Has Dubai benefited from the Arab Spring? That is the question that the latest report of Jones Lang LaSalle answers. And with me is the head of research of the firm, Craig Plum, to tell us all about the report. So, Craig, please answer my question. Has Dubai benefited from the Arab Spring?
Most certainly. The unrest in the rest of the region has certainly benefited the Dubai real estate market. Most of that benefit has been in the hotel sector. So we've seen a lot of extra tourists come to Dubai, and a lot of those tourists have been from the Middle East region, and they tend to be the tourists that spend the most money. So not only are occupancy levels in the hotels up, they're at about 80% at the moment, but also those tourists are spending money in the shops. So that's benefiting the retail sector as well. So definitely the hotels and the retail sector have benefited from the Arab Spring.
Okay, so the hotel and the retail sectors are now growing faster than the other sectors, but the office and residential spaces are now bottoming out in terms of rent. Can you tell me more about this?
Certainly the residential market is roughly at the bottom of its cycle. Some sectors of the market are starting to improve, and we've certainly seen more interest in villas, particularly upmarket expensive villas, and a lot of that money is again coming from the rest of the region. It's being driven by what's going on in the turmoil in Libya and Egypt and Syria and other parts of the region. That activity hasn't resulted in huge price rises yet, but we think it will do in the future. So really the residential market prices are fairly stable. They're dropping slightly in apartments and rising slightly in villas, but the market is close to the bottom of its cycle. Now, in respect of commercial, that's the office space, we've really still got too much supply of commercial space in Dubai at the moment, so the prices and the rents are still falling in that sector. But Dubai is continuing to position itself for the long term. It's being seen as a safe haven. A number of companies are looking at Dubai as a regional headquarters. So we think longer term the Dubai commercial market will be okay, but really prices have still got some way to fall in the office market.
Okay, so when do we see growth in the residential and the office sectors?
In the residential sector, we're already, as I say, limited. We're starting to see some growth already. We think that growth will become more widespread in 2012. The markets that are growing are largely the villas, not so much the apartments. We think apartments will still fall a little bit further next year, largely because of the amount of new supply. But for the villa market, we think they will start to grow in 2012. In terms of office, we think the market will probably continue to fall for a bit longer. It's hard to say, but we're probably looking at least another year before the office market starts to recover. So we'd be looking for recovery in end of 2012 or maybe 2013. But really that largely depends on what's happening in the global economy at the moment. A lot of uncertainties at the moment around the Eurozone and the debt issues in the US. If that starts to have a negative impact on the global strength of global demand, that could negatively impact on Dubai. But what we're finding is that some corporates, some of the office tenants are still looking to expand, and they're seeing Dubai as a good location for their regional offices within the Middle East.
Thank you very much. That was very informative. Thank you, Craig Plum, Head of Research of Jones Lang LaSalle here at this year's Cityscape.